Stock of the, well, I don't know, the stock of the day could be Apple. It's near its high for the year. Rival Samsung is saying no more Galaxy Note 7 phones. If you got one, turn it off. Don't fly with this thing. Even the replacement for the Galaxy 7, that's been taken out as well. Now, Apple stock is up this morning because of the news from Samsung. $117, $118 per share. Would you, Jeff? No, wait, let me introduce everybody. I'm going to introduce everybody. Scroll up, please. I want to see what we got. Yeah, we got Jeff Sica in my immediate left. We've got Peter Marisi, we've got Todd Horwitz, and I think we got Ash, and we got Liz. There we are. I'm going to start with Apple. Would you buy Apple? Sica, Perma Bear. Would you buy Apple at 118?
Well, obviously, this is good for Apple. You know, they're going to lose about Samsung's going to lose about $17 billion that ultimately Apple could pick up as revenue. The problem is Apple cannot continue to rely on the iPhone. They cannot continue to rely on that. Without innovation, they are not going to move past this. They're becoming a commoditized company. They got a shot in the arm by this because the Galaxy 7 was their attempt to aggressively overtake Apple, and it failed miserably.
Right. You know, we were back in May, we're saying Apple could break through the $90 threshold, right? Remember that? We were thinking, oh, yes, Apple could go to 89. They report earnings in 2 weeks' time. It could be the first year-over-year decline in iPhone sales at Apple.
Well, wait a second. We've got an analyst saying they could pick up an extra 15 million
but
iPhone
that would bring it to 200.
Because of Samsung.
It would bring in 211 million iPhones sold, down from 231 million last year.
Who was that? Was that you, Todd Horwitz? What do you got to say on Apple at 118?
I say you don't buy it here. If you own it, hold it. If you don't own it, you should look to short it because it's well overvalued now. It's already fair valued in this place here. It needs to come down. It needs to take lessons from Microsoft and reinvent itself because the way it's operating right now is going to end up looking like IBM instead of the Apple that we remember. It needs to reinvent what they do and find new ways to create revenue because, as Jeff Sica said, the iPhone is not going to be their target anymore.
What do you say? Peter Marisi, come into this, please.
The smartphone is becoming a mature space. If the new Samsung had worked out, it would have been great. It would have been an advance. But let's face it, there's only so much we will be able to do with these contraptions. So short of some other new great initiative, Apple's going to be in a more mature industry, circa the automobile industry in the 60s.
Let me correct myself.
Kind of situation.
Apple's on track for 226 million iPhone sales,
right?
With the Samsung problem factored in.
226 million.
That's 5 million more is it going to sell?
How many more is it going to sell? The really big growth market for phones is on the low end in places like China, and Apple is just not very fleet of foot at that.
Can I just make the case that the smartphone is the consumer product that everybody on this planet wants? And the iPhone represents the peak of that market, the peak of that particular
but people
product.
are hanging on to their phones longer now because the innovations are not as abrupt as they used to be with each successive phone.
Right, exactly.
And then they cannibalize all the old models, and you get lower prices. And what's happening, especially in places like China, when you get lower prices and the economies aren't doing as well, people price shop.
Okay.
So,
the other thing is Samsung produces a lot of high-quality phones other than the Note. My wife has had a succession of them. She's been very happy. Samsung has got a lot of loyal users. Listen, if General Motors can rebound from the issues that it had with quality and with safety, certainly Samsung can rebound from this. It's not the whole line of phones. It's one phone.
I stand corrected before the foremost experts on the planet. I've got a tangential Apple story. This is about the Apple Watch. Listen to this one. Cabinet ministers in Britain have been told, hey, don't wear the watch, don't use the Apple Watch during cabinet meetings because the Russians might hack it and spy. What?
Absolutely true. In fact, one minister said, quote, the Russians are trying to hack everything, so no smartphones, Apple Watches in the cabinet meetings. They used to wear them when David Cameron was Prime Minister, but Theresa May has come in and said, nope. In fact, since 2013, British politicians at the cabinet level have not allowed to bring their smartphones into the meeting, and some of them put them in a lead-lined box. They are so paranoid that the Russians are listening everywhere.
I don't know why I'm laughing. I shouldn't really. I mean, that's serious stuff.
And that's what the hackers want. They've been trying to monitor through the iPhone, to listen, to take photographs. This is necessary.
Smart.
Not only necessary in the UK, necessary here.
All right.
What are we going to do when Watson at IBM develops a Samantha? Samantha was the lady in Bewitched who could read your mind. You know, if we're going to teach these computers to think like us, pretty soon you're going to have to stand and stare at a red sheet of paper and think red all day, not to have your secret thoughts taken from you.
Samantha.
Are you done, Marisi? You're killing me. Food, shall we? One of the biggest meat producers in the land, chicken actually.
Yes.
Tyson's investing in what? Wait a minute. They're going into a vegan startup.
Can you believe this? They are, and look at you roll your eyes. They're going to be permanently stuck like that, Mr.
What
Varney.
happened to my America?
They're investing in a company called Beyond Meat. This is a meat that's made up from protein sources like peas and soya. They have the Beyond Burger, which sizzles and oozes fats like a real burger.
You can make a chicken breast. You can make a chicken breast now with a 3D printer. You'd basically take protein and turn it into a chicken breast. You watch out, Stuart. You know, professors and anchors are next.
Professors and anchors are next. Okay. Give me the last word on Tyson and vegan startups.
Well, first of all, it's horrifying, number one. But
I love it.
It is, and I will never, ever eat it. I'm a meat enthusiast. But this is a $5 billion market. $5 billion market. In the food industry, this vegetable-based meat is a big thing. It's growing. It's the only part of the meat the food industry that's growing at this rate.
You like that?
Horrifying, should be stopped, but it's growing.
I'm just getting old. That's
We'll be at your 4th of July barbecue, and me and Ash will bring the Beyond Meat burgers.
I've got one more for you. This may intrigue our audience. There's a survey, and it shows that 1 in 5 Japanese workers risks death from overwork. Karoshi is the proper name for death from overwork. You got anything to add to this one?
Yeah, this is really dangerous. This is the first time, I think, that the government, if I'm not having an Aleppo moment here, I think that they're coming out with this white paper saying this is a cultural issue. Heart attacks, suicides from overwork. Some workers are doing 4 hours a day, and the majority actually in this study. They studied
4 hours a day?
4 hours of overtime a day. They studied, 1,700 companies, and the majority, you know, are working overtime. Like this is a cultural phenomenon.
Actually, that is a...
Peter,
think about it. We've had a problem in Asia for some time now with teenagers, you know, committing suicide and things like that because of the high academic pressures, you know, to get into college because we put the pressure on them younger. We wanted to study it here, but we can find no traces or evidence of it in the United States.
Okay. You know, I've been straightened down on a few things. Veganism, karoshi in Japan, and
Alcoa.
And Alcoa. Let's not forget Alcoa. But it was a great session. Thank you, Todd, Jeff, and Peter. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, as we speak, is down 74 points. Okay, the early